Picture this: you're on a family cruise in the Caribbean. Endless ocean surrounds you. You feel completely safe. But what happens when someone vanishes in just 30 minutes? What happens when witnesses see the same person in different places at the exact same time? This is what shattered the Bradley family on March 24, 1998. Ron still wakes before dawn, heart pounding, replaying that morning over and over. He pictures Amy's laughter echoing down the corridor, an echo he'll never forget. By the way, I'm curious, where are you tuning in from? Drop a quick comment. I read them all, and sometimes your ideas spark our next case. Amy Lynn Bradley was everything parents could hope for. A 23-year-old from Virginia who had just graduated from Longwood University. She loved basketball and had a personality that could light up any room. Amy had distinctive tattoos that would later become crucial evidence. A Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball on her shoulder. A gecko on her navel. Additional markings on her lower back and ankle. On March 21, 1998, the Bradley family boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas. Amy was traveling with her parents Ron and Iva, plus her younger brother Brad. This Royal Caribbean cruise headed to Curaçao. Ironically, Amy had never liked cruise ships. But when her parents won the tickets, the family decided it would be a fun adventure together. The first 2 days passed perfectly. Amy and her family explored the ship and enjoyed the Caribbean atmosphere. But on March 23, 1998 evening, everything changed. Amy and her brother Brad stayed up late at the ship's disco party. The band Blue Orchid was performing, and Amy spent considerable time with their bass player. His name was Alistair "Yellow" Douglas. Multiple witnesses saw Amy dancing and talking with Douglas throughout the evening. They appeared to be enjoying each other's company. At the time, nothing seemed alarming. Brad eventually called it a night. The ship's electronic system shows Amy returned to their cabin at 3:40 a.m. on March 24, 1998. The siblings sat on their balcony talking for about 30 minutes. Around 4 a.m., Brad went to bed. He left Amy alone on the balcony. At 5:30 a.m., Amy's father Ron woke up. He stepped onto the balcony and saw Amy sleeping peacefully on a deck chair. Her shoes were placed neatly nearby. Ron went back inside, not wanting to disturb his daughter. Any loving parent would make the same decision. But when he checked again at 6 a.m., Amy was gone. The balcony was empty. Her belongings remained untouched in the cabin. Her ID, money, everything was still there. In just 30 minutes, Amy Lynn Bradley had vanished. But here's where this case becomes truly disturbing. 3 separate witnesses told authorities they saw Amy on the ship's upper deck between 5:30 and 5:45 a.m. The exact time her father believed she was sleeping on their balcony. According to these witnesses, Amy was not alone. She was with Alistair "Yellow" Douglas. The same bass player who claimed he had left the party hours earlier at 1 a.m. The witnesses described Amy holding a camera. They saw Douglas hand her a dark drink. This directly contradicted Douglas's statement about when he last saw Amy. Even more disturbing, 2 women reported seeing Amy around 6 a.m. taking an elevator to the top deck just as the ship was docking in Curaçao. If accurate, Amy was still alive and moving around the ship at the exact moment her father discovered her missing. The initial response from Royal Caribbean raised serious questions. Rather than immediately searching the ship, precious hours ticked by. The Bradley family criticized this delay, arguing it may have cost Amy her life. What makes this even more suspicious is what happened to potential evidence. The ship's photographer remembered printing pictures of Amy from that final evening. But when investigators asked for them, the photos had mysteriously disappeared. Surveillance footage from crucial areas was either non-existent or conveniently unavailable. The investigation focused on Alistair "Yellow" Douglas. The contradictions in his timeline made him a person of significant interest. Multiple witnesses saw him with Amy during the time he claimed to be elsewhere. Douglas voluntarily took a polygraph test. According to official reports, he passed. No charges were ever filed against him. But Amy's family wasn't convinced. They believed Douglas knew more than he was telling investigators. 1 month after Amy's disappearance, the Bradley family traveled to Curaçao. A local cab driver approached them with a chilling claim. He said he saw Amy on March 24, 1998 while the ship was docking. According to the driver, she was running through the parking lot frantically searching for a phone. She appeared desperate and distressed. Then came even more disturbing reports. In August 1998, 2 Canadian tourists reported seeing a woman they believed was Amy on a beach in Curaçao. The witness was only 2 feet away from someone matching her physical description, including identical tattoos. In 1999, a U.S. Navy member claimed he encountered a woman in an establishment who said she was Amy Bradley. She quietly told him she needed help. The sailor's description matched Amy's physical characteristics and tattoos perfectly. These sightings suggested she may have been taken against her will. For Amy's parents, these reports represented both hope and agony. Ron and Iva Bradley refused to give up. They spent their life savings on private investigators, following every lead. In 2005, 7 years after Amy's disappearance, they received a disturbing email. It contained 2 photographs that were too blurry to definitively identify anyone. But they reignited the family's hope. But here's where the case takes a shocking new turn. In July 2025, Netflix released a documentary series that brought unprecedented attention to this case. For the first time ever, someone from Douglas's family agreed to speak publicly. Amica Douglas, the daughter of Alistair "Yellow" Douglas, came forward for an interview. She indicated that she may have information regarding her father's potential involvement. This represents the first time a Douglas family member has spoken about the case. What Amica revealed could potentially reshape the entire investigation. The Netflix documentary, Amy Bradley is Missing, has reignited intense public interest. Internet investigators are analyzing every detail, looking for new connections. Today, armchair detectives dissect every witness statement, comparing timestamps from ship logs with passenger photos posted years later on social media. They're relentless. They've mapped Amy's exact route through the ship that final night, frame by frame. But despite all the media attention and decades of searching, fundamental questions remain unanswered. The contradictory witness testimonies create a puzzle that has never been solved. What becomes clear is that Amy Lynn Bradley disappeared under circumstances that should never have been possible. The conflicting timelines, missing evidence, and delayed response suggest systemic failures. Whether through accident, negligence, or deliberate action, a young woman with limitless potential simply vanished. The fact that multiple witnesses saw her with a crew member who had changed his story raises serious questions. A court declared Amy Lynn Bradley legally dead in 2010. Yet the FBI still keeps her case open. The investigation continues today. Amy's case exposes uncomfortable truths about safety at sea. It raises questions about corporate responsibility and how someone can disappear from what should be a controlled environment. Most importantly, it reminds us that behind every missing person is a family whose world has been shattered. For Ron and Iva Bradley, now in their later years, the search continues. They've never stopped believing their daughter might still be alive. Their unwavering love has sustained them through decades of uncertainty. Amy's brother Brad has carried this burden, knowing he was one of the last to see his sister alive. The weight of that final conversation haunts families of the missing forever. The recent emergence of Amica Douglas as a potential witness represents a new chapter. What she knows could finally provide the answers the Bradley family desperately seeks. Behind every lead lies a family still shattered. Brad, Amy's younger brother, carries the weight of their final conversation, 30 minutes on that balcony that haunt him daily. He sometimes replays their last words. What if he'd said something different? What if he'd stayed just 5 minutes longer? These questions don't fade. They grow sharper with time. Some investigators now theorize Amy was transferred to a small boat during the pre-dawn chaos, handed off to traffickers waiting at Curaçao's dock. Others believe it was an inside job, someone on the crew exploiting the late-night party confusion. Iva keeps Amy's playlist on loop at home. Each song brings back memories of her smile and energy. Their living room feels both warm and achingly empty. Hope and heartbreak, side by side. Amy Lynn Bradley was more than just another missing person case. She was a daughter who loved basketball and brought light to everyone around her. She was a sister who shared late-night conversations under Caribbean stars. Her disappearance didn't just take her away from her family. It stole all the possibilities of what her life might have become. 27 years later, her family still wonders what she would look like today. What strikes us most about Amy's case isn't just the mystery of what happened. It's the reminder that someone we love can disappear without warning. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, the truth remains just out of reach. With Amika Douglas finally coming forward, we might be closer than ever to the answers this family deserves. 27 years of silence could be about to end, but for now, Amy Lynn Bradley remains missing, and her story is far from over.
If you enjoy deep dives into true crime, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Until next time, friends!